everyone, today I'm going to be showing you generic routing encapsulation over IP, which is also known as GRE over IP tunneling. I'm going to be using Packet Tracer, and this video is for educational purposes for my network forensics course with Dr. Rami Mohammed at IAU. This is the topology I'm going to be using. I've done some configurations already to save time. What I've done is that I've given both PCs an IP address, a subnet mask, and a default gateway. These are the IP addresses written down, and the default gateway for PCA is this interface of router 2, which has an IP address of 192.168.3.1 belonging to this network. PCB also has this IP address written down, and it has a default gateway of this interface of router 3, which has an IP address of 192.168.4.1 belonging to this network. Router 3 here also has another interface, interface 01, which has an IP address of 192.168.2.2 belonging to this network. Router 2 here also has another interface, which is 01, which has an IP address of 192.168.1.2 belonging to this network. The last router, which is the external one, has both interfaces on. It has the first one with an IP address of 192.168.1.1 belonging to this network. And the second interface, 01, has an IP address of 192.168.2.1 belonging to this network. Now, both routers 2 and 3, the internal ones, have default routes. The default route for the router 2 is this interface, which means anything coming will be directed to this interface. And the default route for router 3 is this interface, which means anything will be directed to this interface. Any IP with any subnet mask. That means the route will go this way, and for the second router will go this way. Now, for the external router, I didn't do any static or dynamic routing, which means the router will only know the networks that are directly connected to it, which means 1 and 2. It does not know about 3 and 4, which is actually what we want, because we don't want it to know that network 3 and 4 exist. We want it to see only 1 and 2, and we're going to do that through the tunnel. We're going to encapsulate the traffic coming from 3 and 4 and set traffic coming from 1 and 2. So it will see the external router will see traffic coming from 1 and 2, and inside of it will be encapsulated in traffic coming from network 3 and 4. And that's the concept of GRE tunneling. Now, to ensure that the external router does not know about 3 and 4, we're going to go to the command line, type in enable, and show IP route. And you can see that it only knows the route to 1 and the route to 2, does not know about 3 and 4. And we're gonna send packets from PCA to PCB just to test. And it is failed. And we're gonna go the other way from B to A. And it is failed again. Now we're gonna start establishing the tunnel between both routers 2 and 3. Now the tunnel is gonna need a virtual interface. So we're gonna go to the first router, type in enable, config T. I'm gonna type in interface, let's call it tunnel 0. Interface tunnel 0. Okay. Now I'm gonna give it an IP address. The IP address will be, for this interface, it will be 192.168.5.1 belonging to this network. And for the second one will be 192.168.5.2 belonging to this network. So they both share the same network. 192.168.5.1 and a subnet mask of 255.255.255.0. Now, if I type in tunnel and a question mark, you'll see that it needs three things: a destination, a mode, and a source. If I type in source and a question mark, you'll see that I must specify the interface, the type of the interface. And for here, the source will be this physical interface. If I'm configuring the other router, the source will be this physical interface. So in here, we're going to type in Giga Ethernet 01. For the destination, tunnel destination, and then a question mark, you'll see that it's an IP address. It needs an IP address. So this is the source, and this physical interface is the destination on the other router. So it has an IP address of 192.168.2.2. As you can see, the interface is up. Now the last thing is the mode. If I type in tunnel mode and a question mark, you'll see I have two modes: GRE, which I'm doing right now, and another mode which is IP version 6 over IP. Now I'm gonna specify it with GRE, and if I type in a question mark again, you'll see that I have one option which is over IP, and I'm gonna type in IP. Now I've done with the virtual interface over here, but I need to do one more thing. I'm gonna exit from the interface. I'm gonna do static routing for this router. So I'm gonna I'm gonna tell him, if you want to go to this network 4, you're gonna do it through the tunnel, through the interface that will be in here. And I said that it will have an IP address of 192.168.5.2. So if I'm gonna say IP route this network, which is network 4, 192.168.4.0 and 255.255.255.0, sorry. Okay, the next hub will be this virtual interface. We didn't create it yet, but we can specify it. 192.168.5.2. And we're done. I'm gonna exit, and I'm gonna save my configurations. Copy, run, start. We're done with this router. Now I'm gonna go to the second one and repeat the same process. Enable, config T, interface, tunnel 0, sorry, interface, tunnel 0. I'm gonna give it an IP address as I specified before, 192.168.5.2, and a subnet mask of 255.255.255.0. Sorry. Now I'm gonna specify the source. In here, the source will be Giga Ethernet 01. Tunnel source Giga Ethernet 01, and the tunnel destination will be this interface of the second router, which has an IP address of 192.168.1.2. 192.168.1.2. Now the interface is up. The last thing is the mode, tunnel mode GRE IP. I'm gonna exit and do the static routing as well for this router. I'm gonna tell it if you want to go to network 3, you're gonna do that. You're gonna go through the tunnel, through this interface, this virtual interface. This will be the next hub. So I'm gonna type in IP route 192.168.4.0.3.0, which is this network, and the next hub will be this virtual interface, which has an IP address of 192.168.5.1. I didn't specify the subnet mask, sorry. 255.255.255.0. And we're done. I'm gonna exit and save my configuration. Copy, run, start. And now the tunnel is set up. If I ping PCA now, if I ping from A to B, it should be successful with a reply. Then we go to the desktop. Ping 192.168.4.10, which is the IP of the second PC. Well, let's see. Let me do it again. And we got a reply. The first one always have some issues, but the second ones are always successful. Now let's try the other way. Ping 192.168.3.10, which is the other one, and we got a reply, which means the tunnel is working. Now let me do a simulation. If I send a packet, it's successful. Now if I go into the simulation mode, let me show you. This is the packet going to the switch, to the router, and to the external router. If I click on the packet, you'll see that at the IP layer, the header with the source 192.168.1.2 going to 192.168.2.2 and an ICMP message type A. So as far as it seems, it's going from 1 to 2. And if I go to the inbound, you'll see at the IP layer, the source is 192.168.1, then the destination is 192.168.2.2. But if I scroll down to the GRE protocol, you'll see that the source is 192.168.3.10 and the destination is 192.168.4.10, which is the actual traffic being encapsulated inside this IP packet. So this is how the GRE over IP tunneling actually works. And I hope this video was helpful for you guys, and thank you for watching.